Hello, everyone. Glad you're here. Today, we need to talk about something that's hitting Social Security recipients hard right now. Gas prices are climbing again, and for those of you living on a fixed income, this matters more than you might realize. Before we dive into this important topic, I need your help with something. If you rely on Social Security benefits and want to stay informed about news that affects your income, please hit that subscribe button right now. I'm working hard to bring you updates that matter to your financial well-being, but I can only reach more people who need this information with your support. Subscribing takes just 2 seconds and helps build this community. So please subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. All right, let's talk about what's happening at the gas pump and why every Social Security beneficiary should be paying attention to this situation. If you filled up your tank recently, you've probably noticed something uncomfortable. Prices are climbing, and in some places, they're climbing fast. The national average has moved up to around $3.48 per gallon, and in states like California, prices are already pushing past $5 per gallon. For Social Security recipients living on fixed incomes, these increases hit differently than they do for working Americans who might be getting raises or bonuses. When your income is set at the beginning of the year, based on the previous year's cost of living adjustment, set-in price spikes throughout the year can squeeze your budget in ways that weren't anticipated. Here's something many people don't realize. A single shipping route in the Middle East called the Strait of Hormuz carries about 1/5 of the world's oil supply. When tensions rise in that region, it can affect the price you see at your local gas station, thousands of miles away. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Oil markets around the world have reacted quickly to expanding conflicts involving major powers in the Middle East. When shipping through that crucial corridor slows down, global supply tightens. And when supply tightens, prices go up. Now, you might be wondering why a Social Security channel is talking about gas prices. The connection is more important than many people realize. Social Security cost of living adjustments are calculated using something called the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, or CPIW. This index measures the prices of a basket of goods and services, and energy costs are a significant component of that calculation. When gas prices rise significantly, it can influence the COLA calculation for the following year. However, there's an important timing issue here. The COLA is calculated based on inflation data from the third quarter of the year, specifically July through September. So if gas prices spike in the spring or early summer and then stabilize or drop by the fall, that spike might not be fully reflected in your COLA increase. Meanwhile, you've been paying those higher prices all along on a fixed income. This is one of the fundamental challenges Social Security recipients face. Your income adjusts once per year, but prices can change constantly throughout the year. When costs rise faster than anticipated, your purchasing power shrinks until the next adjustment comes through. When gas prices rise, it doesn't just affect what you pay at the pump. It creates a ripple effect that touches almost everything you buy. Think about it. Nearly every product you purchase had to be transported at some point. When diesel prices increase, trucking companies pay more to move goods across the country. Farmers pay more to run their equipment. Manufacturers pay more to operate their facilities and ship their products. Eventually, those higher costs show up in grocery prices, prescription costs, and everyday items Social Security recipients need. This is why energy price spikes can feel like a double hit. You're paying more for gas directly, and you're also paying more for everything else indirectly. For retirees and disabled beneficiaries who may not be driving as much, it might seem like gas prices shouldn't matter as much. But because of these ripple effects, Rising energy costs affect everyone's cost of living, whether you drive every day or hardly at all. Airlines pay more for jet fuel, which increases travel costs to visit family. Delivery services pay more for fuel, which increases shipping costs for online orders. Even your utility bills can be affected because natural gas and electricity prices often move with oil prices. Whenever prices spike like this, people often ask whether we could see something like the oil crisis from the 1970s again. Back then, there were actual fuel shortages in the United States. Drivers waited in long lines at gas stations. Some stations ran completely out of fuel. Today, the situation is somewhat different. The United States produces far more energy domestically than it did back then. Global supply chains are also more flexible, and producers can sometimes increase production if prices rise enough. Most analysts believe that while prices may increase, a nationwide shortage is less likely than it was decades ago. However, temporary disruptions can still happen, especially in regions where supply is already tight. California has been hit especially hard by the recent surge. The state requires a special gasoline blend designed to reduce air pollution, and fewer refineries outside the state produce fuel that meets those standards. When global oil prices rise at the same time that local refining capacity falls, prices can climb quickly. For Social Security recipients in high-cost states, this creates additional financial pressure on already stretched budgets.
The current administration has tried to reassure people that this price spike may not last forever. Energy Secretary Chris Wright recently said that even in a worst-case situation, the disruption could be measured in weeks rather than months. The idea is that once shipping stabilizes, oil supplies could start moving normally again.
However, crude oil briefly climbed above $100 per barrel recently. Some analysts have warned that if disruptions continue, prices could theoretically rise even higher. That's more of a worst-case scenario, but it shows how sensitive these markets can be. For Social Security recipients trying to plan their budgets, this uncertainty is particularly challenging. When you're living on a fixed income, not knowing whether gas will cost $3.50 or $5 next month makes financial planning difficult. Some economists and lawmakers worry that higher energy prices could push inflation back up again. If that happens, it could affect everything from grocery prices to medical costs, further straining the budgets of those on fixed incomes.
Now, at this point, you might be thinking that this is all concerning, but what can you actually do about it? Obviously, we can't control global oil markets, but there are practical steps that can help reduce how much money you spend on fuel and stretch your Social Security check further.
One of the easiest things is maintaining your vehicle properly. Keeping your tires properly inflated can improve fuel efficiency more than people realize. When tires are underinflated, your engine has to work harder and burns more fuel. Regular maintenance like clean air filters, proper oil levels, and working spark plugs help engines run efficiently. Small improvements add up over time. Another big factor is driving style. Aggressive acceleration and high speeds burn significantly more fuel. Driving smoothly and maintaining steady speeds on highways can improve mileage quite a bit. Reducing your speed slightly on the freeway can make a noticeable difference. Cars tend to use more fuel once speeds go above about 60 miles per hour. Try to avoid idling whenever possible. If your car is sitting still with the engine running, you're burning fuel without going anywhere. Turning the engine off during longer waits can help conserve gas. Combining errands is another effective strategy. Instead of making several small trips throughout the week, try grouping them into one outing. A cold engine uses more fuel at the start of a trip, so fewer trips can actually save fuel. Extra weight in your vehicle can reduce fuel efficiency. Heavy items in the trunk and unused roof racks or storage boxes create drag and increase fuel consumption. Even removing a roof rack when you're not using it can slightly improve gas mileage. Many drivers now use gas price apps to compare prices between nearby stations. Sometimes there can be surprisingly large price differences within just a few miles. Those small savings add up over months. For Social Security recipients, even small improvements in fuel efficiency can make a meaningful difference. If you improve your gas mileage by just a few miles per gallon, that can mean saving hundreds of dollars annually, depending on how much you drive. If rising gas prices are seriously straining your budget, there may be assistance programs available in your area. Many states offer programs specifically designed to help seniors and disabled individuals with transportation costs. Some communities offer discounted or free transportation services for seniors. Others have volunteer driver programs that can help with medical appointments and essential errands. Area agencies on aging can often connect you with local resources. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, known as LIHEAP, primarily helps with heating and cooling costs, but reducing one expense can free up money for other needs, like transportation. If you're a veteran receiving Social Security, the VA may offer transportation assistance for medical appointments at VA facilities. Contact your local VA office to learn what's available in your area. Medicare Advantage plans sometimes include transportation benefits for medical appointments. If you have an Advantage plan, check whether this benefit is included and how to access it. Living on Social Security during times of rising prices requires careful planning. Here are some strategies that can help you weather these increases. Building a small emergency buffer when possible can help absorb unexpected cost increases. Even setting aside $20 or $30 per month during stable periods can create a cushion for when prices spike. Reviewing your budget monthly rather than assuming expenses will stay the same helps you catch problems early. If gas prices are rising, you might need to adjust spending in other areas before your budget gets too strained. Consider whether some trips can be consolidated or eliminated. Can you combine a doctor's appointment with grocery shopping? Can you coordinate with neighbors or friends to share rides for certain errands? If you're still working part-time while receiving Social Security, factor in commuting costs when evaluating whether that work makes financial sense. Sometimes rising gas prices can significantly reduce the net benefit of part-time employment. For now, many analysts are watching global shipping routes and energy infrastructure closely, hoping things stabilize before economic effects spread further. The important thing for Social Security recipients to understand is that your COLA adjustment is designed to help your benefits keep pace with inflation over time. However, there's always a lag between when prices rise and when your benefits adjust. This is why staying informed about economic trends matters. When you understand what's happening with prices, you can make adjustments to your spending before problems become serious. Rising gas prices can be frustrating, especially when you're living on a fixed income. There's no question about that. But with knowledge and practical strategies, you can still protect your purchasing power while the situation develops. And that's what you need to know about rising gas prices and how they affect Social Security recipients in 2025. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe to this channel. I cover Social Security news, policy updates, and practical strategies that help you make the most of your benefits. Every subscription helps more people find this information, and that's what this channel is all about. Leave a comment below and let me know what you're seeing at the gas pumps in your area. I always like hearing from viewers in different parts of the country. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.